Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode in Fiqh Jurisprudence, lesson number 25, and the final part for Kitab al-Tahara, this book of purification, before we go on to Kitab al-Salat, book of prayer. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi mil as-samawati wa mil al-ardi wa mil ma baynahuma wa mil ma shi'ta min shay'in ba'da. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So we continue in this next part, this final part, and that is the forbidden when impure. So when we're in impure state, there are states that we may be in, and the ulama have categorized it in these three states: when we're forbidden to do 8 things, or 5 things, or 3 things. So we'll begin with the smallest one, muhdith. When we're a muhdith, that means it could be a male or female. When we're in a minor ritual impurity state, and to come out of it, we perform wudu. Or we're in a state of janaba or junub, again male or female, can be in this state, 5 things forbidden to do so. And from ibadah, from worship, and to come out of this state, ghusl, to perform the purificatory bath. And finally we have hayd wa nifas, which is menstruation and postnatal bleeding. This last part we had in the previous episode. When we're in this state, there's 8 things forbidden to do for a woman. So this is specifically for a woman, however these two can be shared by both male and female. This is the al-hadath al-asghar, the minor ritual impurity. This is normally made the major one, al-hadath al-akbar. However, because we have this state here, this can be al-hadath al-awsat, the mid-range ritual impurity, and we have al-hadath al-akbar, the major ritual impurity. So we begin with the number 8. You can see, as the author continues to say, وَيَحْرُمُ بِالْحَيْضِ وَالنِّفَاسِ ثَمَانِيَةُ أَشْيَاء, and 8 things are forbidden for a person, a woman in a who's menstruating or postnatal bleeding. As-salah. So the first thing is prayers, and that is could be fard prayer, it could be the 5 daily prayers, or it could be a nafil prayer, optional. One is in that state is not able to perform salah. In this also comes the sajdat tilawa and sajdat shukr, the prostration of thankfulness for on receiving a blessing, on all these calamities or any kind of troubles and problems being removed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, you give shukr to Allah. So one may be regular in it. If one is so in such a case, you know, you don't pray when you're in this state, or one may not be regular in it, but you want to perform it, you cannot perform it when you're in this state. Similarly, when you hear someone reciting the Quran and they reach that prostration of the ayah that requires prostration, you know, to perform sajda, that's sunnah, then one may not do so. If someone has recited the Quran, you've heard it, but you're in that state. And then we have also in as-salah that you do not make it up. So a woman, if she was to make up a prayer that she missed due to her being in the state, it is from the kabair, it's from the major sins. Similarly, if a man or a woman, they did not perform salah in the prayer time that, you know, salat al-dhuhr comes, you do not pray, that's from the kabair as well, to leave prayers as well. Also, if a woman, because we're talking about menstruation, if she's pure, salat al-dhuhr is entered, and she has time to pray, meaning she's occupied and she, you know, also times quite a bit anyway away. However, she's then, after being occupied with many different things and daily chores, she hasn't had the chance to pray yet. She then becomes impure. She starts to she's in a state of menstruation now. She has to make up the prayer when she does become pure later on. So she'll have to make up that prayer, the dhuhr, which she could have prayed. There was a time amount she could have prayed, but because she was busy and occupied, she didn't make it up. The other thing is as well, if a woman, she becomes pure just before, like, let's say Maghrib time, in Asr time, where it's just an amount equivalent to a takbiratul ihram, or even just 1 rak'ah, then after ghusl you have to pray the Asr and dhuhr with it, because salat dhuhr and Asr is like that you can combine normally in the travel, when you're traveling. So that should be combined, that should be not combined, that should be prayed, and then, you know, your Maghrib and Isha is normal, because now you're in a pure state, because you got a part of Asr that you became pure in, so you should be praying Asr and Zuhr as well, just to make note of that as well. So we have that, and then we have as-sawm as fasting fard fast again, which is Ramadan, obligatory, or could be nafil, could be any of the other fasts, the white moon days in the middle of the month, 13, 14, 15, could be Mondays and Thursdays, it could be in Muharram, could be in Sha'ban, as the Prophet increased his fasting outside of Ramadan the most in Sha'ban. You're not able to do any of these kind of fasting, but Aisha radiallahu anha, she mentioned that فَنُؤْمَرْ بِقَضَاءِ الصَّوْمِ وَلَا نُؤْمَرْ بِقَضَاءِ الصَّلَاةِ. We were commanded to perform the makeup fast that we missed, but we're not commanded to make up the salah we missed. So a woman who's in this state does not make up any missed prayers but missed fast. You certainly do. Then he goes وَقِرَاتُ الْقُرْآنِ, which is the recitation of the Quran. And when we recite the Quran, the Mus'haf is when we recite the Quran, we have to move our lips. That's recitation, that we're actually moving our lips. We can hear ourselves, however light we're reading it. We may not even hear ourselves, but we know we're moving our lips. That is that thing that's required really, even in salah, in prayer. For a man or woman to recite, that's how you would recite. So to recite the Quran. However, there are verses in the Quran that we normally would say, like Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That is a Quranic ayah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is a Quranic ayah. To say these things, if you're intending the Quran with it, one is not able to do so. However, if one intends a dhikr from it, then one is able to do so when you're in this state. Mashul Mus'haf wa hamluhu. To carry the Quran and to touch the Quran and to carry it. La yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun. As it comes in the Quran, no one touches it except the pure, the mutahharun. Only the purified ones can touch the Quran. So, because we're not in an impure state, the women are in an impure state in this scenario, you do not touch the Quran, nor you carry it. However, you're carrying a bag and there's a Quran in the bag, the Mus'haf in the bag, maybe with other books, maybe not, but you're intending maybe another book to carry, or you intend to carry the actual bag, that's able to do so, even though it has the Quran in it. However, just intending specifically the Quran to carry, one is not able to do so. If you fear for the Quran, for the Mus'haf, like it's going to get desecrated, it's going to get destruction, by any means, or impure, then you should pick it up and move it away. That becomes a necessity then to protect the Quran. So Mas'ul Mus'haf wa hamlu, one is not able to do so, carry or touch the Quran. Dukhul al-masjid, one is not able to enter the masjid for a woman who is in her periods or in postnatal bleeding. However, one may pass through the masjid to get to the other side. In Egypt, we have these grand mosques and historical mosques, and the way they've made it, in the courtyards, all classical, the masajids, many doors, many gates. But it takes a huge space. To go through the masjid is actually the quickest way home. It makes it easier. One may be able to do so in this state. However, one does not remain in it. One does not remain in the masjid, going to different places before coming out from that gate. One goes straight through. Really, that's what it is allowed. Really. So entering the masjid is not allowed except for passing through. At-tawaf, so to perform the circumambulation around the Kaaba, one is not able to do so, which we normally do in Umrah or Hajj. However, the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned that at-tawaf حول البيت مثل الصلاة, performing circumambulation around the house around the Kaaba is like salah, is really like salah. إلا أنكم يتكلمون فيه فمن يتكلمون فيه لا يتكلمون إلا بخير. So whoever is performing tawaf, one may be they can speak. Speaking is allowed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made speaking allowed in there, where we're saying Assalamu alaikum, we're saying these things that are necessary. Otherwise, you should really stick to the adhkar, the dhikr, and as you're going around the Kaaba, understand the situation, this gravity of the situation where we're in, and to remember Allah, to do dhikr, and the recommended things to say. That is what one should be busy and occupied in. However, one may say Assalamu alaikum, one may actually leave to go and to relieve himself or herself, and then come back, and then maybe even drink Zamzam before, and then continue finishing the round that they were at. You don't have to do all 7 again. So whichever point you left at, you can come back and complete it from there. You're drinking water because you drank Zamzam in between the rounds. So this is like Salah, but this is that difference is Tawaf has that you can speak, or you can in goodness, or you can actually even drink, where in normal Salah you cannot. And then we have al-wat. So this is now to have sexual intercourse. So this is the main thing. يسألونك المحيض, they ask you about menstruation. قل هو الأذى فاعتزلوا النساء من المحيض. That it is an other, it is a is like an illness. You know, so, stay away from the women in the state. And we said when we say stay away, they can do their normal daily chores in the house. We do not keep them far away or anything or isolate them. No, they can carry on doing the normal things. They can share the same bed. However, what is mainly the thing that you're not able to go close to them is what is between the navel and the knees. So that sexual intercourse, that is the forbidden thing to do between husband and female, the husband and wife. However, if it is performed and it is thought that she was not menstruating, and then it turns out she is, and you're the beginning of it, then you kind of have to give a charity of 1 dinar, which is equivalent to 1 dinar is equivalent to 4.25 grams of gold in today's weight, pure gold. If it happens in the end, so you think it's over, the menstrual, the whole, she's finished her menstrual period and she's pure. However, it turns out she's not really, then you have to give half a dinar, so half of 4.25 grams of gold. So to give sadaqah in that, if you perform that by mistake. So sexual intercourse is haram, it's forbidden in this state. And the final thing is والاستمتاع ما بين السرة والركبة, to enjoy, for the husband to enjoy his wife between the navel and the knees. So you can enjoy in many different ways, not only necessarily sexual intercourse. However, is forbidden between that area, what is above it, what is below it. It's permissible, as the Prophet ﷺ said. He was asked, ما يحل للرجل من امرأته وهي حائض. What is permissible for a man to enjoy from his wife when she's in a state of menstruation? ما فوق الإزار. What is above the waist? So what is above the navel, one may enjoy that. What is below the knees really as well, one may enjoy that as well. However, what is between navel and knees, forbidden. So these are the 8 things that are forbidden for a woman to do when she's in the state of menstruation or postnatal bleeding. We now move on to being in a state of junub, and that is from a male or female. And the first thing is as-salah again. So as-salah, whether it's fard or nafil, and the fard can come fard kifaya, the janazah prayer, the prayer, the prayer for the deceased. It's obligatory in the Shafi school. One may not perform that, as well as normal prayers, any kind of prayers. Qira'at al-Quran, reciting the Quran, we've mentioned that. Masl Musaf wa hamluhu, to touch the Quran and to carry it. At-tawaf again. Al-luf al-masjid is the main kind of different one, and that can be that a male person can be in i'tikaf in Ramadan in the masjid, sleeping, and then he has a wet dream. So because of that, we have a ruling, a legal maxim, al-maysur la yasqutu bil-ma'sur, that because now you may not be able to have a bath, you may not be able to go home for the bath, there's no shower in the facility in the masjid, then it's not appropriate to go at night. You fear for your life, you fear for your wealth, then you may that does not mean what is possible to do, you don't do that. So it is obligatory to do the things that is still possible to do. Try and remove it as much as possible. Do wudu, and cleanse yourself as much as possible, which you can have with the water facilities available that you may have. So al-maysur la yasqutu bil-ma'sur. What is possible does not become negated just because it is impossible that you have the full bath. And then we have muhdith, and this is now male or female again, and they can be in this state normally because when we're not in wudu and we're not in the other 2 states, we're normally in a muhdith stage, that we cannot perform salah or tawaf or masul musaf wa hamluhu, to carry the Quran or touch it. We cannot do any of these three things, more or less mentioned before already, when we don't have wudu. So when we have wudu, then we are able to perform salah or tawaf or touching the Quran and carrying it. So these are the things that are forbidden to when one is in a state of any of these 3 states. And because then to get out of it, like I said, for being a muhdith, you perform wudu. For janaba, you do ghusl, and this one you just really have to wait until the time is over, and then you can have a ghusl, purificatory bath, and then you're able to perform the ibadah. And then this all leads to, because we have purification now, it comes logically the next chapter will be Salah, because that is the Imaduddin, that is the pillar of Deen. That is the first thing we'll be questioned upon. So let's now learn, inshallah, from the next episode about Salah, the thing that we do 5 times a day, the most that we do of any ibadah. May Allah make it, our ibadah is successful, and we have khushu in it. Inshallah, we'll look at that in the next chapter. Wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.